Clouds are hanging around with some areas of fog, on and off rain over the next few days, along with some chances of storms, along with the temperatures going way up. We will have widespread 70s tomorrow with some spots even making it to 80 degrees. All those details coming up.
Right now on News Channel 6 and 7, new dental and medical schools coming to Georgia. Why some Augusta leaders aren't thrilled. Plus, a local family dealing with a rare disease. How national research is improving their situation. And a South Carolina hospital cracking down on abuse. How leaders are protecting employees. Your news at 7 starts now.
Live from Television Park, this is WJBF News Channel 6 at 7.
Good evening, everyone. You're watching News Channel 6 at 7. I'm Dee Griffin. Thanks so much for joining us. Coverage you can count on begins with Augusta lawmakers reacting to new medical and dental schools coming to the Peach State. Atlanta Bureau Chief Archid Cesaudry has more.
It may be a win for the state of Georgia, but some Augusta lawmakers and commissioners aren't thrilled about healthcare expansion in the Peach State.
It was a surprise, and because it is new for Augusta, traditionally we have grown very fond of being known as the medical heart, in terms of being the educational heart of the state.
Some Augusta commissioners say they are concerned about the new dental school and the new medical school coming to Athens as well as Georgia Southern, but lawmakers say ultimately it is a win for Georgia because it creates a new pipeline for more students to become nurses and doctors and ultimately help with the state's shortage of healthcare workers as baby boomers continue to retire. Augusta commissioners say they've worked hard to build up the Medical College of Georgia and Augusta University, and this could take away from the area. But Augusta's mayor says he welcomes the expansion with open arms.
We need more healthcare professionals in this state. We also support the effort of growing our ability to train those healthcare professionals and educate them at the Medical College of Georgia.
For over a decade now, we've ranked around 42 or so when it comes to per capita physician to population, and we have not improved. The reason we've not improved, even though we've added residency spots, we've increased the number of medical students, is that our population has grown.
Other lawmakers say this is crucial to have more nurses and doctors to spread out in the state, especially in rural parts of Georgia, to make health care more accessible. Reporting at the Georgia State Capitol, Archid Cesaudry, Atlanta Bureau Chief.
Time now for a first look at our forecast, and meteorologist Jenna Petracci joins us now. And Jenna, I'm loving the temperatures, the 70s, but not this just dampness and just cloudy. And look at the haze behind you there in Atlanta.
I know. There's a plane there, believe it or not. You can barely see it. Yeah, that's over at the Atlanta airport where it's very foggy, and it's also foggy in some parts of the CSRA this evening, in addition to the cloud cover. So really cool shot there, but as Dee mentioned, I'm sure we would all love to have some sunshine with these warmer temperatures. Visibility is very poor in some of our northwestern counties, down to half a mile, right around Wilkes County and parts of Lincoln County as well. Most of that patchy fog, though, to our north, or dense fog, I should say, and over towards Atlanta as well. Visibility is actually fine here in the metro and Aiken County, but we do have a dense fog advisory that goes until midnight for Wilkes and Taliaferro County, and as we go into tomorrow morning, there will still be some areas of that patchy fog. Satellite and radar showing the clouds and also some areas of drizzle. We've had this on and off pesky rain, pretty much light all day long, though, and satellite and radar out towards the west showing a front approaching with a bigger batch of some light showers and even some thunderstorms pushing in our direction. So we will have the chance of rain once again tomorrow, though it will be pretty low once again. So none of these days are a complete washout, but the rain chance is definitely there. High today was 68 degrees, low of 53. That is around 20 degrees above average, and right now temperatures are around 8 to 15 degrees warmer than they were 24 hours ago, and even yesterday was pretty warm. So we're getting warmer and warmer every day. Right now seeing all 60s, 65 in Augusta, 61 in Crawfordville, 64 in Edgefield, with dew points pretty much matching those temperatures. So pretty much a lot of moisture around with some light winds, and tomorrow morning sticking around with the clouds and also those warm temperatures in the 60s. More on that to come, but back to you, Dave.
All right, thanks so much, Jenna. Big changes going on at a popular park in Augusta. Demolition crews are at work at Eisenhower Park, removing 4 of the older ball fields. This is being done by Augusta National Golf Club, which leases the park during the Masters for employee parking. And the club needs more parking spots.
It allows them additional parking space on that particular site, but also offers us opportunity to utilize some of their funds to do some development there. What's going to be left there once they get finished with the development is open green space. So we'll have open green space. We'll still be able to do some recreational activities on the green space. They'll utilize that space for once a week.
Augusta National pays the city a little more than $10,000 to use the park during the tournament. The other 4 ball fields at the park will remain as is. Langley Pond Park in Aiken County be prepared for interviews. Well, tax season is almost here, and there are a few changes this year at both the federal and state levels. The good news is that there are new tax breaks that could put some money back in your pocket. The child tax credit is going up by $200. If you made energy-efficient home improvements or bought an electric vehicle, you can get green credits. The biggest change is the increased tax brackets and a bigger standard deduction, which means you could be paying less in taxes.
Basically, as far as with the standard deduction, that takes off of your taxable income and reduces the amount that you're taxed on. So you can always account from your wages if you made $30,000 for the year, and if you are married, that $27,800 comes off of that, and technically you're only taxed on $3,000 of your income versus the whole $30,000.
The IRS will start accepting individual income tax returns starting January 29th. The last day to file is April 15th. A South Carolina hospital is cracking down on abusive behavior toward its staff. Chloe Salsamena explains how.
At least 2 upstate hospitals have adopted no-tolerance policies, saying attacks and threats against their healthcare workers will not be tolerated in their facilities. These signs are posted in Prisma and Spartanburg Regional's facilities. They lay out a clear message that aggressive behavior against staff won't be tolerated, including physical assaults, inappropriate conduct, abusive or foul language, and threats.
It's happening every day in hospitals around our state and around the nation where people are not feeling safe to go to work.
According to a survey by the American Nurses Association, 1 in 4 nurses has reported being physically assaulted. It's something Tashika Curtis Pugh has experienced firsthand.
I had been hit and scratched and punched and all kinds of other things, and I just thought it was a part of the job.
Curtis Pugh is the executive director of the South Carolina Nurses Association. She says threats against healthcare workers have increased in the last 4 years. She believes it's leading them to seek out different jobs and careers.
By 2030, we will be fourth in the nation for the nursing shortage in South Carolina. We don't want to do anything that's going to cause that shift to happen faster. We need to keep our nurses at the bedside, but more importantly, we need to keep them safe.
Curtis Pugh says her organization is pushing for change statewide. She encourages healthcare workers to speak out if they're mistreated.
People are not reporting what's happening to them, and sometimes it's out of shame, sometimes it's out of fear of retaliation, but we need them to report. And even if it's reporting anonymously, if our hospitals create mechanisms for anonymous reporting, that is huge.
The South Carolina Nurses Association says they're working with the state legislature to pass new laws to protect healthcare workers.
Well, coming up, former President Donald Trump wins big in New Hampshire. So what are the next steps in the Republican primaries?
And we have a dense fog advisory in effect for a couple counties with more fog possible tomorrow morning. Clouds sticking around, some chances of rain, and warmer temperatures. All the details on that coming up.
Hey there, Georgia. I'm QuietBaby.com. Click, click. Local Living, Saturday mornings at 9:30 on News Channel 6.
Former President Donald Trump continued his hot streak on the campaign trail, picking up a big win in New Hampshire. So what comes next for the Republican primaries? Jesse Tenor explains.
We'll see you on the trail.
As far as Donald Trump is concerned, he's already the GOP nominee for president, after beating Nikki Haley in New Hampshire's Republican primary Tuesday.
She had a very bad night.
But on Wednesday, Haley made it clear she's staying put in the race, at least until after the primary in her home state of South Carolina next month.
If Joe Biden wins, you can count on it, President Kamala Harris, and we can't promise Donald Trump will win.
But Trump's New Hampshire victory is winning him more Republican support in Congress for November's general election.
More and more people are coming on board. I think him being the nominee at this point is virtually certainty.
Senators Eric Schmidt and Rick Scott had previously endorsed Trump, arguing his record cements his spot as the GOP presidential candidate.
When you run against him, what are you going to run on? Do you have a better plan to secure the border or build a better economy or keep us out of war?
President Joe Biden said Wednesday at a campaign event that Trump's record is precisely why Americans should vote Democrat.
He's the only president other than Herbert Hoover who lost jobs when he was president.
South Carolina's Democratic primary is February 3rd, while the Republican primary is February 24th. In Washington, I'm Jesse Tenor.
A New York district attorney wants Venmo, Zelle, and Cash App to take action to protect its consumers from fraud. In a letter to the companies, DA Alvin Bragg warns that the apps are leaving users vulnerable because of what he says are insufficient security measures. Bragg says as the apps have grown in popularity, so have frauds and scams, and more users are being robbed. He is asking that a multi-factor authentication be added to limit the amount of money users can send and impose wait times on larger transfers. We'll be right back.
It's the Lazy Boy.
Now, your most accurate forecast with WJBF Live 5 for 6.
In case you missed it a few minutes ago, I want to start out with our Terry Lambert Hyundai Skyview cam looking over towards the Atlanta airport. What a cool shot. The plane is barely visible there with a lot of dense fog, and you can tell it's also very wet outside. We have this very pesky rain that's been pretty much happening all day long, on and off across Georgia. 65 degrees here in town. We have some drizzle here as well. For now, mostly just cloudy. Visibility isn't too bad here in town at 10 miles. And we have a southeast wind of 5 miles per hour. So visibility is very poor, though, in some of our northwestern counties at half a mile up in Wilkes, parts of Tolliver, Lincoln County. The rest of us, so far, so good. Just the clouds sticking around. There is a dense fog advisory, though, for Wilkes and Tolliver until midnight tonight. And I do think there is potential that another one could be issued as we go into tomorrow morning. Satellite and radar showing the clouds and a little bit of blue and green popping up on radar there, representing some of those areas of drizzle. Also mist happening tonight. So overall, just a real foggy, drizzly setup tonight. Not a lot of widespread rain. That's all to the west of us, moving into northwest Georgia now. Some storms even down in parts of Alabama, Mississippi. We'll have the chance of a few thunderstorms tomorrow. However, those chances really don't look too promising, and I'll get into that in just a moment. In the meantime, temperature-wise, though, upper 50s in Washington. The rest of us, even as warm as the upper 60s. So it is more like a springtime night. And tomorrow we'll continue to warm up. We'll have a cold front move through with temperatures rising into the 70s and even some of us possibly making it to 80 degrees. We'll also have an increase in moisture, so that could lead to some of those storms tomorrow, as I mentioned. But the main story is definitely the warmth. We will be anywhere from around 72 to 80 degrees down in Millen tomorrow, 77 in Augusta. We'll keep the 70s Friday and Saturday, then a big cool down starting on Sunday, 60s and upper 50s for pretty much all of next week. Low temperatures in the 60s, so that's what our lows will be next week. Or our highs, I should say, and even 58, more like our highs for next week. But our lows will drop down into the 30s, right back to around freezing next week. Visibility, as I mentioned, could get worse tonight. This is 11 o'clock. That fog starts to creep in from the southeast. Visibility as low as possibly 0 miles tomorrow morning. So keep that in mind when headed out the door. Really not that many changes. The clouds aren't breaking. We'll have that chance of rain once again. Here's tonight. Not much going on when it comes to rain. And same thing for Thursday. Mostly dry on Thursday, but we'll see these possible storms late Thursday night. Most of it moving off to our north, missing us. Cold front comes through on Friday. Really not seeing too much rain potential here as well. It really looks like it just keeps missing us, moving right off towards the north. Now, Saturday is a day we'll have to watch as well, as we do have the potential of some storms. Some of those could even be strong, but once again, looks like a lot of that storm activity will slide just to our north. Warm front moves to our north as well. So that does put us in the warm sector here, giving us some instability. So we'll definitely watch that closely, but as of now, no major threat. Lows tonight in the upper 50s, the low 60s with that fog forming. Tomorrow we'll make it into the 70s, 76 at 3 p.m. with the chance of storms and some drizzle throughout the day. The rain chances stay around all the way through Saturday. Then starting on Sunday, we'll be drying out and sunshine pretty much all of next week with the cooler temperatures. And we'll be right back.
With bad traffic like Terry Lambert Hyundai. Low prices, big selection, and committed to quality customer service.
Today, students at South Carolina elementary schools got free shoes thanks to a local nonprofit. Colin Reveo has the story.
More than 500 pairs of shoes are being put into bags to give out to students here at Berea Elementary School.
Slip it right down. That's going to fit so much better. Come on.
There's a saying that everybody learns at their own pace.
Stand up. How's that? Good?
A motivated learner has the potential to exceed expectations. It's why 500 pairs of shoes and socks were given out to students at Berea Elementary in Greenville. The shoes were donated by Southeastern Freight Lines, who worked with Samaritan's Feet International to organize the giveaway.
You know, kids' feet grow really, really fast, and so they might be in a 12 this week and need a 1 next week. So it's just a little small gift that we can give each family, and hopefully take a little bit of pressure off so that money can go somewhere else.
It's a gift that first grade teacher Cassidy Kane says meets a need for her 17 students.
There have been a handful of my students that have come in with maybe wearing shorts when it's like 30 degrees outside, who walk to school, and so getting an extra pair of shoes like this is really helpful for them and their families.
Berea Elementary is a designated Title I school. This means it receives federal funding because at least 40% of its students qualify for free or reduced lunch. For at least one Samaritan Feet volunteer, it's a reality she hasn't experienced, but one she's all too familiar with.
When I was younger, my dad lost his job, and it kind of changed the whole aspect of how our family operated. And so it really helps you become more grateful for the things that you do have.
For Kane, she says her students now are going to do something she didn't plan.
Talk nonstop about their new shoes. I'm sure, I can't see them, but I'm sure most of them have their new shoes on right now.
Welcome to the new year at Blissful Boutique in West Georgia, your go-to destination for all your shopping desires. Step into 2024 with Stylist, our first collection of fashion apparel, home decor, and gifts await you. From trendy fashion statements to delightful home additions, we have something for everyone. Discover the joy of a personalized shopping experience at Blissful Boutique, making your New Year shopping truly special. Visit us in person or online to start your blissful experience today. Come see what's waiting behind the pink door for you at Blissful Boutique.
Biden to
We'll have the chance of rain over the next few days, along with some possible thunderstorms as temperatures get way warmer. We will be in the low to upper 70s. Some spots could even reach the 80-degree mark tomorrow. Then we'll be back to sunshine finally on Sunday. Beautiful week all ahead next week, but temperatures will be much cooler, upper 50s to low 60s, and no chance of rain next week.
Not bad at all. All right, thanks so much, and thank you for joining us. We're always with you at WJBF.com. Entertainment Tonight is next.